from COZ Creations, and as always, I am glad you joined me here in the no bra zone. I am beyond excited today. This is going to be a cool lesson for all of us. I have had probably 50 people reach out to me in the past couple of weeks saying, Kathleen, if you don't use silicone in your paintings, how do you get those cells? And I know a little bit about it. I am not a scientist by any means, but when you reach out and you ask me a question, I'm going to do my darndest to find the correct answers for you. Now, silicone, I don't use it. I've used it twice. I did a video a few weeks back using it, and those cells were so explosive they almost scared the heck out of me. So, and then the cleanup afterwards, the baby powder, the cornstarch, the Dawn dish soap, the washing it down, the drying it, it just didn't seem healthy to me. So I did a little exploring, and I decided, you know what, I need to have the best answer for you. So yesterday I sat down in the evening and I Googled how to get cells, or why do you get cells in your paintings without using silicone. And lo and behold, I smiled from head to toe. What popped up was one of my favorite people in the whole world, my teacher, Courtney Hoelscher from Courtney Hoelscher's Art. She had a whole blog on it, and I sat there and I read it and I read it again, and I took notes, and I wanted to share with you everything that I have learned. I knew it had almost everything to do with density, the density of your paints. I also knew that Floetrol helps to create the cells that we get, whether we want them or not. I would do anything I can to do a few paintings with absolutely no cells. I have a love-hate relationship with them. So I reached out to my teacher, who I miss more than anything, having my Friday morning coffee with you. And I said, Courtney, help me to help these painting peeps that are asking these questions. And lo and behold, she made a sweet little video and sent it my way. So guys, welcome to the house. My teacher, one of my favorite people in the world, a talented artist that is very dear to me, Miss Courtney Hoelscher. Hey girl.
What's up? How are y'all doing? It's me, Courtney Hoelscher. Kathleen Osmore asked me to get on here and talk a little bit about why we don't use silicone. I know silicone is sort of a staple in a lot of acrylic pouring artists' ingredient list. And I, for one, from the very beginning, did not use it. And I know Kathleen tried it a couple times, but also didn't like the results. For one, the cells were a little too big. But there is a very good reason. And I went into it really early on in some of my earliest blogs on my website, cozcreationsart.com. You can go there, read it. I have a 4-part series about the experiments I did, the research I did, about why I didn't end up using silicone to create cells in my acrylic pours. Number one, silicone is a non-drying oil that doesn't dry, and it's greasy, and it is non-archival. They don't know if in the end it will end up yellowing over time. So also it takes like a lot of work to clean it off the surface of your paint film. After it dries, you got to get out the Dawn soap and really scrub it away, otherwise your painting has a greasy surface. And there is no way to know if all of the silicone rose to the surface, and theoretically that's what creates the cells, is it rises to the surface and leaves these holes. But some of it could end up getting trapped and not rise all the way to the surface, and then you've got a squishy bit, a pocket of silicone oil inside your acrylic painting in between the layers that could really compromise the integrity of that surface over time. It could get punctured and then ooze grossness that could attract dirt. So that is why I don't use silicone. But how do I get the cells without silicone? How does Kathleen get the cells without silicone? First of all, Floetrol does create some cells. I did early tests. I decided, based on some of the videos I had seen online, that I was going to stick with GAC 800 and Floetrol, and then maybe some rubbing alcohol, because I had heard that that could also. So I did some side-by-side tests, which are, there's photographs of it and observations from my experiments on my blog posts, which maybe Kathleen will link in her description of her video, where I did some paintings where skip this part. I did some paintings that were 100% GAC 800 mixed with my paint. I did some paintings that were 100% Floetrol mixed with my paint. I did others that were just rubbing alcohol mixed with my paint. And then I did different combinations of those, and I found that I liked what the 50-50 GAC 800 and Floetrol together did, because the GAC 800 provided no cells, but it did provide a really beautiful glossiness. The Floetrol provided cells, but it left a dullness to the paint. It was very matte, and it had a texture to it that I didn't like. It was a little bumpy. So the combination of those two was very attractive to me, and it was 50-50 in my experiment, but I ended up going in the end with a little more GAC 800, a little less Floetrol. And I always use the golden acrylics because I think that they are the best that are out there. They also provide the most information about the individual pigments. You can find density charts online, which is another thing I haven't even talked about. The density of a paint will also help produce those cells. If you swipe, which, you know, I prefer the swipes, if you swipe the denser paint on top of the lower density paint, then that one wants to rise up through, this one wants to fall down, and that also creates your cells when you have the denser paint wanting to fall through the less dense paint. So if you had like a zinc white, which I think is one of their densest paint, and then they're like, I can't remember which yellow, I think it's dilurid yellow. One of their yellows is absolutely the least dense paint. Then those would flip-flop, and you would get a lot of yellow in your paint, though. That's the thing. If you go with a really dense yellow, it's going to take over your painting. So you got to think about that too. Density of your pigments really matters when you think about the overall composition and your color combinations. I've had some people come to me asking like why some of their paints disappeared. It's probably because they were really dense and they just fell down under the rest of your paints. So density of pigment and also Floetrol, those two things can get you the cells without using the silicone, which is just nasty and not meant to be used with paint. I mean, the majority of what the silicone is that people are using is meant to like lubricate the gears on a treadmill, literally. I have a Q&A video out there that has this question answered, as well as a lot of other stuff that maybe Kathleen will also link in her description, and you can get some more information about all these things if you're looking for it. It was lovely to visit with you all. Kathleen pulled me out of my hiatus here for a second just to visit. Yeah, so I hope you all are surviving in this crazy time. It's a good thing we all have our hobby, right? Otherwise, what the heck would we be doing with ourselves?
excited. Wasn't it great to see Courtney's smiling face? One of my favorite people in the whole world, talented artist, and you need to go visit her. When I started my painting journey a little over a year ago, I started it because of her. I saw lots of acrylic pouring being done, and I'm kind of a neutral, abstract kind of girl, although I do paint in colors and wild things and fun things every now and again, because I just love watching paint move on my canvas. But I saw a painting that Courtney had done, maybe a year and a half ago, and I'll post a picture of it as well as the link so you can watch it. And it inspired me beyond belief. And I proceeded to watch every single one of her videos 2 and 3 times. But Courtney, I hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna attempt to do one of your swipes that got me rocking and rolling on this painting journey, and I hope that I make you proud. So let's talk about our canvas. Hobby Lobby had some stuff on sale. These Master Touch canvases. This is a, it doesn't say what size it is. It's this big. And we are going to be painting on this. It's a gallery wrapped canvas, and I'll let you know how they do. They were 50% off. All Masters Touch is 50% off this week at Hobby Lobby. Our colors today, our base coat, this lovely, lovely base coat is golden iridescent silver. And my pouring medium today is 60% Floetrol and 40% golden GAC 800. So this will be our base coat, and then our swiping colors are going to be golden iridescent pearl, golden iridescent gold. Now Courtney used burnt sienna, and I didn't have any burnt sienna, so I'm using, and forgive me if I say this funny, I have a heck of a time with some of these paint names. Quinacridone Nickel Orzo Gold. And I have no doubt you all are going to reach out to me about how I just said that. Oh, and I added just a drizzle or two of the burnt umber in there because I didn't have the burnt sienna. We're also putting the golden iridescent pearl in our swipe color. This, another one, golden iron oxide. And we're also using golden carbon black. So once again, Teach, I hope I make you proud. I'm going to go ahead and put some music on for everybody. Courtney, thank you so much for being here and talking to us about those cells that so many of us are searching for and so many of us are trying to stay away from. So I am hoping that we get some cells with these paints. There's absolutely no silicone being used in this painting, guys. So enjoy your tunes. Thanks for being here. I'm beyond grateful, and I will miss you till I see you guys again. Let's get busy.